All right, so you get home, you turn your TV on. Oh, error code 775, issue communicating with the dish. This can mean a couple things. Check your system if you want to troubleshoot it. That little black box you see in the center, that is actually could be either no box or even a gray box. So depending on your system, make sure your receiver's plugged in. The little cable in the back's plugged in. Nobody mess with anything. I'm gonna go back and I'll show you. This little black box has a green light on it. It also could be a gray box. So you find that gray box in your system. Now if you have a newer system, which is an HR54 Genie system or an H44 Genie Lite system, you may not even have a box because that power supply that that box provides is actually built into that Genie receiver. So keep that in mind. So how I got my system to fail is I basically went back to my little power supply box, which is the 29 volt gray box, and unplugged it. So a lot of times customers will move this box around. It can be black, and they'll move it around and unplug it to move it and forget to plug it back in and wonder why their system's not working. So make sure you find your box if you have one. Plug it back in, make sure everything's tight, make sure your connections are good, make sure it's not kinked, and if you still have issues, you're going to have to basically trace your lines, make sure your splitter, if you have a splitter, your splitter is going to kind of look like this, maybe even a smaller one. Green stickers for the swim system for Directv, so make sure everything's tight, no kinks, nobody chewed through anything, kids didn't play with anything. Now, if you have a newer Genie system, or Genie Lite system, which is going to look like this. This is a newer HR54 model. No lights up top. If you have lights like this or down here, then you're going to need a power supply. But this one has one built into it, and there's a smaller version of this with no hard drive that also has a power supply built into it. So you may not even have it. So you make sure that this line that's plugged into this receiver is good, not kinked, plugged in, and is getting, as best as your ability is getting, the signal to the satellite dish. If you have everything plugged in correctly, you're gonna have to call us out here, out to your place, and have us troubleshoot it even further, because it may not be a system issue in your house. It might be at the dish, somebody outside, ground block outside can corrode. So this is a quick tips as far as troubleshooting your system. Make sure your connections are good. Make sure if you do have a black box or a gray box, make sure it's plugged in. It's got a green light. And you want the line that's powering your system, that basically going to the satellite. If you can distinguish it, you may not be able to distinguish it. You want that on the red. You can see that it's red. That means it's power. This is the port that's actually supplying the power to the LMB. So hopefully this helps you guys out a little bit. Yeah. Have a good night.